The idea about, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, there is, I love the little tracking device we have there with your heart rate. Everyone seems to have one of those on these days. But taking care of your body is important. And when I mentioned, putting oxygen on yourself, I literally mean putting oxygen on yourself. So if you're capable, if you can get out, get out and walk. Like get out there, there's a whole variety of simple wellness strategies. Walk, talk, do it socially. If there are people in your house, go for a walk. I went for a walk the other day with my grandson. It turned into like, a 25-minute walk, but we only walked about 8 steps. Enjoy the walk. Like, there's this basic idea of getting outside, eating healthy, watch what the balance of your meals are, and getting plenty of sleep. I mean, those three basic keys to taking care of your body are so important during times of stress. Avoid alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, like I mentioned earlier. And there are a variety of different sort of links I have through these slides that you can look at later. And there's a ton more on different types of strategies that you can use for mental health. And I'll show some more Canadian versions of that soon. Another coping strategy that's really important is connecting with others. And this is almost ironic because it's like, okay, we want to be the dot and we don't want to connect with other people. And then there's this other idea of, no, we want to connect with other people. Now, the research on social support and getting that type of support is very clear that when you share your concerns with other people, how you're feeling, that could be friends, family members, even social contacts, you can feel better from that experience. And again, it goes back to my first point again about, making a decision. Because if you are anxious or you are upset about something, when you go out and make the effort to get some form of information to make you feel better, that can turn the corner for you. You can start to feel a little bit more assured, and you want to keep that momentum going. So you do your best, as we're all trying to do at this stage, to do that. I think it's funny because today you can do so much online. I've never called my friends so much in the last week or so. I've never had so many conversations with people that I haven't talked to in a while, simply because they're not around and I don't see them as much. But now it's like, hey, I wonder how they're doing in Nova Scotia. I wonder how they're doing back home in Halifax, where I'm from, or my friends out in BC. How are they making out? So I think it's important to connect with others in ways that you can, within reasons, of course. The next thing I wanted to talk a little bit about here was connected to connecting, and that's helping others. And I've heard lots of stories about how people have, risen above a variety of situations to help other people. There was one story I heard recently about a person who was volunteering time. I know that there's a whole pile of just angels out there working in the healthcare system now and switching jobs and roles to accommodate what we're expecting the need to be. And, even retired people coming back to be involved with some certain things. So I think it's really important that if you can help others, that gives you, again, a sense of purpose and, again, a sense of relying anxiety and makes you feel positive. And that's an important thing. So to simplify helping others, ask friends, ask your family members, ask people in your neighborhood, if they need something. If one person's going in to get groceries and they have a neighbor, why don't you check in on them? Why don't you ask them, hey, I'm going in for groceries. Did you need something? I can pick it up and leave it on your doorstep. We're lucky enough to have a bunch of chickens in a chicken coop on our property, and we're giving eggs away. I mean, people love them anyway. But I mean, I think it's this idea: what can you do to help other people? And I think that gives you a sense of accomplishment. It also provides a purpose when you may feel that you're losing purpose in these days. So I think checking in by phone, text, video messaging, all these sorts of things are really important. I make another comment about being mindful of your community, and again, you can be helpful by not excessively stockpiling materials. We heard a lot about toilet paper being stockpiled, and I still can't understand why toilet paper, but toilet paper being stockpiled. And as all the supply chains and food chains and all that, we've already been confirmed, by the government and by many other people that there's not going to be a shortage. So I think the idea of trying to kind of be mindful in that area is also something I would recommend as well. That is another way that you're being helpful to other people. And when you feel helpful, you feel like you're getting something accomplished, and that helps reduce anxiety as well. So the next thing here is really to talk a little bit about taking breaks. And it's funny because part of me is saying, be informed, be informed, be informed, because that will allay anxiety and give you some sort of direction on how to proceed. That's important. But it's also really important to understand that don't get overwhelmed. And what I mean by this is I have people in my life that that I know that have been on the computer, on their phones, on the media and news at such an alarming rate, they just get exasperated. They just get tired. They get panicked. And I think part of it is a pretty important thing that we've learned in other sort of situations that require, sort of media attention, is that there is a time when you need to take a break. There's a time when you need to, again, reach down to the oxygen mask, put it on yourself, and do something for yourself. And I think that when you start to feel overwhelmed by anxiety or stress here, it's a really good point to just take that deep breath, do that walk, take that time for yourself, pick up a book, put down the media, and just try to do activities that you usually enjoy. And again, people's environments will be different, but I think it's important to remember, be informed, but also in another way, I'm saying, watch how much you digest. I guess it's like eating. Don't overeat. Just go and eat and get your fill, understand it, and then move forward. I think it's important to kind of take breaks.